Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode 23. This one's reviewing episodes 25 to 28 of J.A.K.Q. Now, in these episodes, we get more development on the crime work, the organization crime, and the whole thing with Big One. We get not much development for him. He doesn't do a lot in these episodes. He does some interesting stuff with him in episode 28, but in 27 28, but the first two, he doesn't do very much at all. 25 is unique in that, well, it's the last time for a little bit, basically, that Boss Iron Claw is actually physically seen on screen because he's seen briefly, I think, in episode 26, but basically for 27 28, he doesn't make a physical appearance at all because for some reason it's like we focus on Shine a lot more. Yes. Now, 25, basically, we had the show up of a new monster called J.A.K.Q. He's one of the invader monsters. Yeah. And he does suffer defeat at the hands of J.A.K.Q. But here's something interesting, though. Like, apparently because he failed, Shine wanted to execute him. And then Boss Iron's like, no, I'll handle this. So, he gives the general basically a chance to redeem himself by trying to separate J.A.K.Q., which he nearly succeeds in doing. That's one thing unique about this era. Basically, it seems that since episode 18, they've been basically giving crime a lot better writing with this stuff. Basically, getting close to basically doing some damage to J.A.K.Q. Where he does his episodes separate them, but he does eventually get defeated at the very end by, of course, Big Bomber. Yeah, that's the thing with this one. And the very next episode is an episode that doesn't even feature Boss Iron Claw. Well, he does appear briefly on screen, but that's it. You see him briefly appear on screen. Shine doesn't even appear in 26 at all. Nope. He's absent for 26. He does show up in 27. And you probably think, okay, what about 28? No, he does not make a physical appearance in this one. He's mentioned several times. But as far as, well, I think he does make a brief. I don't think he does appear in the end of the episode. No, he doesn't. Now, Captain Ghost, he's the next one basically that J.A.K.Q. has to fade off against. He is, simply put, a pirate. And it's revealed slowly in the episode. They think originally he's a space pirate because, well, he's got a pirate ship. And it turns out, nope, he just wanted to basically work for crime. And we do see, well, he tries to set up his own base. We see briefly Boss Iron Claw saying, hi, I'm here. And that's last see of him. Excuse me, because I think this is quite weird, though, when it comes to Boss Iron Claw. He's very ruthless throughout the whole series. And then once Shine shows up, it's like, oh, let's just basically reduce your original main villain to simply being a lackey for some other guy. Oh, don't worry, he does show up later on. If I read, don't worry about that. So, and what's this guy's plan? What's basically Captain Ghost's plan? Well, he wants to destroy J.A.K.Q. And he basically, along the way, steals first a rocket engine, and then he steals a nuclear warhead. Yes, a nuclear warhead. From what I've heard about these damn things, is that they are very difficult to hold, and you gotta have special you have to have special suits in order to hold an actual nuclear warhead because these things are dangerous. My guess is because it's implied that he's supposed to be an alien. That's the thing with the invader robots. They're implied now. This guy is still a machine per se, yes, but it's not until the monster shows up in episode 28 that this is definitely an alien. Yep. Is it defeated at the very end? Yeah. It almost seems as though this guy was starting to do his operation and J.A.K.Q. just interrupted it. And the thing with this guy is, apparently the nephew of the new character, Henrico, I think his name is, who's the chef, he just happened to stumble upon his operation just by pure coincidence. And I have to talk about this living skeleton in his classroom. And apparently this guy also did something genius. He posed as the school janitor. Which begs the question, what the heck happened to the real one? Yeah. By the way, nephew disappear again after this. The very next episode is quite unique. This is basically a very pivotal episode, this one. Because this one starts off quite interestingly with a bit of shocking development. Having the new monster, Fuhrer Crocodile, yeah, who says he's a reincarnation of the Fuhrer. So he's a reincarnation of Adolf Hitler, one of the most evil men in human history. Adolf Hitler. Wow. Oh boy. So, what's his plan? Simply put, he's kidnapping high-level ISS officials and their families. Yes, I am not kidding about this. To take him to a death camp along with J.A.K.Q and put him into a gas chamber. I'm sure if this episode ever reached... This episode basically... Wow. Like, really? The writers of J.A.K.Q? I mean, it's a good thing that Power Rangers was invented in the 1990s because I think this episode would never be adapted. Power Rangers because it's too violent, too dark, and trying to execute families in freaking gas chambers. That is wow. That's like, well, it's a good thing he's a villain, so it's perfectly fine for him to do it as long as someone else doesn't do it. So, first person kidnaps is basically the brains behind ISS, and eventually also, apparently he kidnapped the commander of the ISS. I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah, somehow he managed to find out about all these officials. I'm thinking, like, how the heck did basically... Now, I'm sure the fact that this guy, Fuhrer Crocodile, probably is getting a lot of information from somewhere. Where he got the information from is completely unknown. And then eventually they briefly capture King, Queen, and Jack in order to basically infiltrate the actual death camp. Now Ace tries to rescue everybody with the sky with the Sky Ace, but they're blocked by a particular cannon. And the fact they threatened the action. Of course, they actually attacked the Sky Ace, though they had to run away. Though they had to figure out a way to actually destroy the damn thing. So, what do? Have Big One pose as Adolf Hitler. No joke, he seriously did this. He poses as Adolf Hitler. He brings in the chef and one of the ISS agents to dress as his subordinates. And apparently, Fuhrer Crocodile is so happy to see Adolf Hitler. Apparently, he's a fan of his. Like, okay. And he sees Jack. This is the infamous Jack. I came all the way from the depths of hell to see your execution. It's like, no, wait. Let's not put him in the gas chamber. Let's make him target practice for this new candy you put out here. And I guess Fuhrer Crocodile's like, great idea. So, once again in the series, we actually have the Jack being put up on freaking crosses. No joke. I think this is like the third time that this has happened to them. So eventually they give him this particular device that's supposed to fire on the Jack, Rangers. But the cannon explodes. And of course, Rangers are free, and of course, they transform off screen. One thing I have noticed, though, in these episodes is that the strength capsule is not seen very much. It's like, apparently, off screen, we just stop you. Like, apparently, from what I can tell, it's like they were going to use it, and then they don't show it. It's like they just dropped appearing it. It's like we have to have the transformation happen off screen for some reason. And eventually, of course, after a while, after a pretty lengthy battle, Fuhrer Crocodile is defeated. And then, of course, this is basically after Big One shows up and destroys everything. Destroys the guy, helps him destroy it. And then one of the most weirdest things happens. Shine appears before Jack. And, of course, Big One's like, who are you? And Shine's like, I am Shine. I am the ruler of crime. Soon we will take over the earth. And Big One's like, not on my watch. And he flies away. Of course, Shine appears over this gigantic alien like dragon form, which is, from what I read, is not his actual form. I'll basically talk about that later on. I'll talk about the final episodes. And then, like, the very next episode takes place not long after this. They basically build a device to basically fight him because they have aliens now. So we have an actual alien, which they refer to him as technical lay priest. Yes, technical lay priest. One of two characters who's basically a priest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he tries to destroy the device, and he also takes a boy hostage. Of course. Well, technically no, he tricks him, and he also apparently off-screen killed his dog. Yeah, no wonder why. And then when of course, when the boy finds out he killed his dog, he's like, I hate you, I don't want anything to do with you. And then, of course, he threatens his own mom. Yes, I'm not kidding about that. And then, of course, well, we actually have it where Big One poses as the professor who actually made the damn thing. And had this whole fake article about the thing being, well, finished. It really was, but it was not at that lab. Nope, it was actually in the hands of J.A.K.Q someplace else. They didn't really say where it was. Eventually, this guy is destroyed. At one point, this guy fires like black ink at all the J.A.K.Q Rangers, and even fires tentacles. Like a big one shows up, and of course he yells like twice, "Big bomber!" Like, just saying he should use Big Bomb, but at first they couldn't use it because they were basically having their throats basically strangled by the tentacles. They're lucky not able to free them. Eventually the creature's destroyed, and then the Rangers help out the little boy, who apparently does have a good kick. He apparently cannot ride a bicycle properly, and he's terrible at piano. So they decided to help him with riding a bicycle, which that's nice of them to do. And that's the episodes for you. I'm like, wow. And I like the fact that in episodes 27, 28, Big One is a little more active in these ones than he was in the first two of this batch of episodes. Yeah, he's a lot more active, and, well, maybe we might get a chance to see more of him. Well, there's not many episodes left. If you're curious, though, like how many episodes are left, there's exactly 7 left. And a movie. Now, I'm going to basically, hopefully, finish this up tomorrow. Yes, despite the fact I have 2 anime to discuss tomorrow, which is going to be Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid and Drugstore in the World. Aside from these 2, I am going to hopefully get a chance to finish up this particular Super Sentai. There's only 7 episodes left, so I'm hopefully going to finish this up, basically do 3 reviews of talking about J.A.K.Q, and then I'll finish with J.A.K.Q. It'll be the first Super Sentai I finished in 4 years. Now, as for when I'm going to do another Super Sentai, I don't know. As for which one I'm going to do next, depends when I get a chance to watch, okay? So tomorrow I expect to see reviews for Super Sentai, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and Drugstore in the World, right? To the next video. Bye.